Enactus, a unique network of student, faculty, business, and social impact leaders committed to creating a better, more sustainable world. At Enactus, we believe investing in students who take social entrepreneurial action creates a better world for us all. Enactus India has been committed to improving lives and livelihoods since 2003. Over the past year, Enactus students from across 128 colleges have positively impacted over 1.75 million lives with their social impact projects. With a head for business and a heart for the world, Enactus students see opportunities where others see challenges. This year, a select group of business, student, faculty, and social impact leaders from across the country will gather virtually to showcase how social entrepreneurial action and shared innovation is transforming lives.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Enactus India National Competition. My name is Shmita Ramkumar, Chief Program Officer of Enactus India. I'm thrilled to welcome you all today as we celebrate the thousands of passionate and committed Enactus students, faculty advisors, project partners, mentors, project beneficiaries, alumni, and our Enactus India partners and donors who are passionate about using the power of innovation and entrepreneurship to create a better India. Since 2003, some of the best young minds and successful business, academic, and social leaders have been collaborating across the country to solve some of the most significant social, economic, and environmental problems, including those posed most recently by the COVID pandemic. This past year has been a testament to the Enactus spirit of seeing opportunity amidst challenges and taking action to create a positive impact on our communities. Thank you to the 4,300 Enactus India student leaders across 128 colleges in India who have successfully implemented over 170 social impact projects this year and positively impacted over 1.7 million lives. Thank you to our faculty members and our mentors who have all along believed in our purpose and supported our journey. This national competition is a celebration of each of you. When I think about our impact and how we have gathered here today to celebrate, it is with utmost gratitude and appreciation that I recognize our longest and strongest supporter in India, KPMG. And now, to join this celebration of our positive impact, I would like to welcome our biggest enthusiast and supporter, the Chairman of the Enactus India Advisory Board and Chairman and CEO of KPMG in India, Mr. Arun Kumar.
Thank you, Shmita.
Over to you.
Thank you, Shmita, for that very generous introduction. And it's great to be here with you and all of those participating in this event and all those who've helped stand the event up, organize the event. I'm very privileged to be the chairman of the National Advisory Board of Enactus India, as Shmita mentioned. But before I go further, Shmita, let me congratulate you and the entire team at Enactus for yet another very successful year, despite many challenges and through a year that has been truly extraordinary in so many ways. I also want to congratulate all the teams present today. It is so uplifting to see the ideas and talent getting better and sharper with each passing year. This year's competition will once again help us select the team who will represent India at the Enactus World Cup, which will be held virtually in October. Enactus is a platform which is motivated by the importance of entrepreneurship and innovation, very apt and very needed in this day and age. The ongoing challenges posed by the pandemic demand even more innovative and sustainable solutions. And who better than our future leaders of Enactus to take the lead? So this year, a total of 91 teams expressed intent to participate in the national competition of Enactus across both stages of the competition, the mature stage and the early stage. Last year, a very bright team from Hansraj College had emerged as winner for their project Vriddhi, focused on one of the most pertinent global issues of today, namely climate change and pollution. That team went on to be second runners up in the World Cup. In addition, Enactus teams from India won the World Water Race, One Race for Oceans, and the 77th Film Festival. I look forward to the work of the teams participating this year, to their ideas and the fresh energy they infuse in their initiatives. So, my best wishes to all the participating teams. India's growth will be driven by the energy, talents, and aspirations of your generation in the coming 25 years and more. An entrepreneurial mindset will be critical in the world ahead as change continues to accelerate and choices continue to proliferate. There aren't many more addictive vocations than that of being an entrepreneur. But along with the highs of entrepreneurship, it also demands the ability to deal with adversity when things do not go well. Entrepreneurship thus teaches us also to be resilient. Resilience has been important over the past year and a half as we all dealt with the once in a generation pandemic crisis. And a word about social entrepreneurship that is at the heart of Enactus Ventures. Social entrepreneurs working to create a more inclusive and fair society are needed more than ever before. India needs them and today has enormous opportunities for them. Enactus is an excellent platform for students to showcase the impact of their outreach efforts, helping to build the kind of talent and perspective that are essential to leadership in a challenging and a changing world. In 2020-21, a year executed, as I mentioned, entirely through COVID, Enactus India was involved with mentoring over 4,300 students across 172 projects, impacting and uplifting 1.75 million lives across the country. That is an enormous accomplishment. These projects are contributing towards the achievement of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals in so many ways. Additionally, 140 COVID specific initiatives and projects were carried out, addressing critical areas such as mental health support, recruitments, and distribution of PPE kits. A total of 3 million rupees was raised for COVID relief by teams, and I commend the effort made by all those involved. KPMG is honored to be involved with Enactus and the World Cup since the very first World Cup event in London in 2001. With that, to all of us who are present here from the business community, on behalf of all KPMG partners and colleagues, I would like to express thanks and wish you all the very best for the year to come. I now have great pleasure in declaring the Enactus India Online Convention and Competition 2021 open.
Thank you very much, Arun. Thank you for your warm message. We have with us a special guest today, someone who is most relevant to the essence of Enactus India, its entrepreneurial spirit and its innovation. I would like to now welcome and introduce Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan, the former First Mission Director of the Atal Innovation Mission and Additional Secretary at Niti Aayog, the National Institution for Transforming India. Mr. Ramanathan has been instrumental in the launch and execution of several nationwide innovation and entrepreneurship initiatives, such as launching over 10,000 Atal Thinking Labs in schools across India, launching the Atal Innovation and Incubation Centers in colleges and universities, thereby supporting the entire startup ecosystem in India. He is an alumnus of IIT Bombay and joins us today with over 40 years of NGO, public sector, and corporate experience. A very warm welcome and over to our keynote speaker, Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Smita, for that generous introduction. And thank you, Dr. Arun Kumar, for setting the stage for a wonderful interaction, which I'm sure is not only relevant to all the people who are attending this particular call, but it is also relevant to the entire country and to the world in general. Before I proceed, I do hope that all the participants of this particular call are hale and hearty in spite of this very difficult COVID-19 circumstances, and that all of you are taking the necessary safeguards advocated by your health authorities, by your local institutions, or by the local government. Indeed, as Dr. Kumar said, we are living in unprecedented times. A simple virus has paralyzed countries across the world. It has created grievous disruption to supply chains across the world. It's created grievous disruption to lives and livelihoods. It has created national lockdowns under whose effect we are all still reeling, and we are trying to recover. But more importantly, it has also created a fear of uncertainty about what the future holds for us. What about other global pandemics or variants of this particular pandemic in the horizon? What about climate change issues that we have been talking about, but we have not experienced the full ferocity of as we have been experiencing this pandemic? What about even greater nationalistic lockdowns or fervors which will grip countries in the wake of this crisis and disrupt supply chains even further? These and many other fears have come to address all of us. But at the same time, I would venture to add that nowhere in the history of our times has the opportunity been best to be able to tackle crises such as this and crises that we anticipate in the future. And it is because of several things that are happening in and around the world that we are living in, and especially in India. Let's take India, for example. We are a country with 1.3 billion people. We have 1.4 million schools. We have 10,500 engineering and related institutions. We have over 39,000 colleges. We have 150 million young students like you. Many of you are present in the call, entering into the workplace over the next 5 to 10 years. We have what they call as a demographic dividend, which is the advantage and which is the envy of many a country. Most of the countries look at India very enviously because this is a tremendous energy, a youthful energy coursing through this country, and which has the power to transform not only individual lives, but the lives of many, not only in India, but across the rest of the world. We're also living in one of the fastest growing economies of the world. We have been growing at a rate of 6 to 8%, barring the COVID-19 crisis, and we are all set to grow even further. You need a vibrant, growing economy to be able to support innovation, to be able to support entrepreneurship, to be able to realize the dreams of those people who have an imagination and who are able to use that imagination to create an impact not only on society, but an impact on sustainable living, on sustainable creation of this world that we are all part of. We have to be aligned with not only economic progress that every country deserves and should have to enable its people to go up the value chain in terms of happiness quotient or in terms of the quality of their lives, but we also need to ensure that the societal progress happens parallelly. The divide between the haves and the have-nots, the digital divides that we experience, or the economic divides that are spanning our country and across the world are also being addressed. And the third important thing that is happening is we are living in a world of exponentially changing technology, whose impact is far-reaching, whose possibilities are endless, whose ability to convert and transform the world that we live in are mind-boggling. Technology has become not only affordable, accessible, available, or advanced, but it is now available to be able to be implemented by every one of us in every nook and corner of our country. 3D printing is revolutionizing the way you are conceptualizing, defining, prototyping, and designing products and manufacturing products right in front of your eyes in your own Kirana store, in the confines of your small little room in your house, or in a very small manufacturing plant. You don't need access to large manufacturing plants to be able to create new products that will impact the world, whether it is in manufacturing or whether it is in auto ancillaries, or whether it is in creating tribal products which can be distributed in any part of the world. We have 5G communication, satellite, fiber, and other technologies, which is extending the digital reach and enabling digital transformations that we did not think before. And that's how today, even during the pandemic, we are all here connected together, talking, deliberating, reflecting on how we can imbibe and internalize innovation and entrepreneurship in every institution, in every young student, and in every young mind to be able to blossom their creativity and create an impact that we talk about, sustainable impact that we talk about. Steve Jobs said, we all need to leave a ding in the universe. And that's what we all need to do. Our life should matter, not just to us, but to the people around us, to society around us, to the world around us. And therefore, we have the chance to leverage technologies like 3D printing, robotics, IoT, or sensor technologies, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, to be able to create this impact because they are becoming affordable, accessible, available, and advanced. We are able to now integrate sensor technologies in soil, space, health, whether it is in the soil health card, whether it is in space technology, and so on. And we are now having artificial intelligence as a reality. Why? Because we are able to process all these data that is being collected from millions of sources and being able to be communicated through high-speed communication links, be it wireless, satellite, space, or 5G. And we are able to process using large computing resources which are affordable, nano computing or quantum computing or supercomputing resources. And therefore, the ability and the convergence of advanced computing, advanced communications, and advanced data processing and data collection technologies is making artificial intelligence a reality. We used to talk about artificial intelligence even 50 years ago when I just started studying in IIT in the 1976. We were talking about artificial intelligence. But never in the history of the world has it made more sense and become more practical to apply than it is now. So my dear young students, we are all living in a world of extraordinary possibilities, and you are living and experiencing a world where such possibilities are possible because of the tremendous advances that technology has made and the connectivity that has been enabled through the internet. We are a globally connected society, and therefore we have the ability to reach our solutions, our products, our services from the remote areas of Sikkim to Seattle, from Salem to San Francisco, or from Jodhpur to Japan. That's the connectivity that has been enabled. And therefore, if we don't use this opportunity and platforms like how Enactus is enabling you to become the entrepreneurs and the innovators of the future, to become the job creators, to become the transformers and the architects of the world that we are going to inhabit in the next 50 to 100 years, we would have lost a great opportunity. And this is why we have government supporting many of these initiatives, like the Atal Innovation Mission. The Atal Innovation Mission was born out of a vision of the Honorable Prime Minister to create and promote a vibrant ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship across the length and breadth of a country. You see, India has never lacked for great innovators, great engineers, great scientists, great doctors, great philosophers, great artists. You name it, they are there. When they have availed themselves of an innovative ecosystem, they have been able to blossom to their full potential. And that's why you have a Satya Nadella heading Microsoft, a Sundar Pichai heading Google, a Shantanu Narayan heading Adobe, an Arvind Krishna heading IBM. You have several of our Indian professors leading in great universities like the Harvard Business School or Carnegie Mellon or Stanford. And we have people like Dr. Arun Kumar heading global organizations like KPMG. That's because they have been able to avail of an innovation ecosystem that was not available to them in India. And the Atal Innovation Mission and many other government initiatives today are seized upon creating that vibrant ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship so that we have 1,000 Abdul Kalams blooming and blossoming from our remote parts of our country, 1,000 Sundar Pichais, 1,000 Satya Nadellas. That is possible today. And that is what every one of you can and should aspire. Like I said, India is a country not only of great potential, but of great challenges. We have more than 715 districts in our country. We have more than 650,000 villages. We have more than 8,000 small towns and cities. And we have only 8 tier 1 cities to which everyone tries to flock to, and thereby creating a huge migration issue. We need to create in this country thousands of hubs of innovation and job creation. local innovation, and local job creation. That means local entrepreneurship. We have the opportunity. We have still 22% of our country below the poverty line. We have 44% of our country agri-economy based. We want to transform our country into a manufacturing hub of the world. We want to transform our country into the knowledge capital of the world. And if you want to do all of that, we will have to address the 5 pillars that the Honorable Prime Minister has so eloquently said for Atmanirbhar Bharat. The 5 pillars being the pillar of demographic dividend, where we need edtech startups. We need ability to transmit education as a problem-solving mechanism rather than as a rote learning mechanism to acquire some degrees from some university and stuff it in our pockets or show it to our employers. We need to create the job creators of the future, not just the job seekers of the future. And you, my dear young students, have that opportunity to become the job creators of the future. But for that, we will need to spread the education and create a problem-solving, innovative, entrepreneurial mindset in the minds of the millions of young students who are now coming out from our schools and entering into universities. And this is why the Atal Innovation Mission has set up more than 10,000 tinkering labs, where more than 4.5 to 5 million young students are now getting exposed to the latest of technologies upon which the solutions of tomorrow are being built, like 3D printing, robotics, IoT, miniaturized electronics, and augmented virtual reality, and AI do-it-yourself kits. With these do-it-yourself kits, the young students learn to play, to tinker with these technologies in an atmosphere of fun and learning, and thereby start creating solutions to problems they see in and around the communities they live in. When the young student from grade 6 to grade 12 walks or comes from his school, from his home to his school, or from his home to the nearest mall, or to the nearest theater, or to the nearest playground, they are trained now to see what are the problems that the world faces. And they are encouraged to come in small teams and start becoming problem solvers, leveraging these technologies with which you can create solutions. No wonder it is not a surprise that in the last Atal Tinkering Marathon that we ran, more than 50,000 students participated and more than 8,000 innovations, prototypes, not ideas, not just some script on a paper, but actual prototype of innovations got created by the young students to solve problems like how do you create a solar panel IoT-based irrigation management system in Salem. In Thoothukudi. Thoothukudi is a remote town in the coastal parts of Tamil Nadu. How do you create a solution to help the farmers there who have a problem both in terms of water as well as in terms of electricity? And how do you use solar panel, IoT-based irrigation management system to create precision agriculture solutions? Or how do you use robotics for waste management in a place like Sikkim? The innovations are endless, the opportunities are endless, and therein lies your ability to be able to transform not only India, but also the rest of the world. The second pillar, which the Honorable Prime Minister said, is a pillar of infrastructure. We need to ensure that we create smart infrastructure, smart villages, smart cities, smart districts, smart hubs of local innovation and job creation, and extend the power of this infrastructure through digital infrastructure to reach any part of the world. And therefore, there is a tremendous opportunity for all of you who are interested in ensuring this smart infrastructure, which is a combination of IoT technologies and other physical technologies, to be able to bring to bear in creating world-class infrastructure in India. That will enable world-class entrepreneurs and innovators to be able to realize their dreams. The third pillar is a pillar of demand. We have 1.3 billion people. We don't need to look elsewhere for the demand. That is why you have countries all over the world flocking to India, because India is going to be one of those future places where the demand is going to increase. We already have 300 million people in the middle class rising economy. We want to add another 300 million people to this rising economy. That means tremendous demand. That means tremendous opportunity. That means tremendous innovative capability and entrepreneurial ventures that are needed to make that happen. And then you have the pillar of socio-economic progress that I talked about, where you need to bridge the socio-economic divide. We still have 1 in 5 infant mortality, 1 in 4 infant stunting, 1 in 5 in maternal mortality in our aspirational districts. And we have 115 of them out of the 715 districts as aspirational districts. These are social problems which need to be solved. And these are solved and will be solved only having sustainable development goals in our mind. And I therefore congratulate this entire Enactus platform, as well as all the young students, the 4,000 plus students affecting that 1.75 million lives that Dr. Arun Kumar talked about, the mentors, the faculty who have participated enthusiastically in encouraging the young students to become the innovators and the entrepreneurs of the future, keeping social equality in mind, keeping gender equality in mind, keeping the fact in mind that unless you have both society and economy growing together, we will not have a sustainable society or a sustainable planet to live in. And in order to do all this, my dear students, we all have to dream big. As the great Abdul Kalam said, dream big and you will achieve great things. Dream small and you will be limited by your own dreams. So dream big. And as the great Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake, and stop not till your goals are reached. So my dear students, arise to the opportunities and the challenges that India and the world poses today. Awaken within you that latent talent and that innovative capability that you have always had and you have always possessed, but you have to give expression to. And stop not till your Atmanirbhar Bharat goals are reached. Thank you so much for giving me some time to reflect and share a few thoughts on this particular occasion.
Thank you so much, Ramanan sir. I would now like to welcome you and Arun sir along with my fellow Enactus colleagues for a dialogue session.
Greetings, Arun sir and Ramanan sir. I'm Simran Sharma, and along with me today, I have Sahaj Kapoor and Arushi Ray on this dialogue. We're ecstatic to welcome you both on board for this conversation. You know, Enactus has always served as this platform that enables young minds to become future innovators and entrepreneurs. Having the support of mentors like you both has inspired Enactus students all over India, because of which, like Ramanan sir rightly mentioned, we have this ability, this thirst to explore, to dream, to innovate, to create something and have the courage to put it out to the world. There are some questions, that Enactus students have been very, very eager to ask you. My first question is for Arun sir. This past year has been nothing less than a roller coaster where everything was so uncertain. As soon as I thought now we're back on our feet, the second wave knocked us down again. So could you please share, Arun sir, what has been your biggest learning experience through this pandemic as a leader and as the CEO of KPMG? What were some things that you did differently before the new normal became a thing?
Well, thank you for that question. Well, the first learning is that even in a crisis, there are opportunities. So when we faced into the COVID crisis back in March 2020, things looked really glum. But within 3 months, we could see that there were many opportunities for us to do things, often do things differently, and respond to our clients' needs, which is the business we are in, providing service to clients. Respond to them differently in a way that would help them through the crisis. So the crisis created, difficulties for them, but the way we were able to help them through that crisis became our opportunity. So the lesson was that even in the most difficult of times, there is opportunity. What did I do differently? I think some of the lessons in terms of what to do differently, what to do during a crisis, clearly one has to deal with it with great calmness and great equipoise. You cannot be rattled by a crisis. Especially as a leader, you cannot be rattled by a crisis. Second is, in a crisis, you need to provide support and care. So I actually spent a lot of time, especially during during the second wave, when it was very severe and lots of our people were falling ill at all levels, and family, there were bereavements. People lost. We lost a number of folks, a number of our colleagues lost family. So I spent a fair amount of time calling many of them and just talking to them, just to let them know that we are here to do whatever we can to support them. So that I think it was important that the caring element, a genuine caring element, which our entire firm showed, was very important. So that's what I do differently. I made a lot of phone calls. I had a list every day of people I needed to call who were battling some situation or another, or just coping with a grievous loss. So those are my answers to you.
That was very enlightening for all of us, sir. I think I speak for every Enactus student present here when I say that these insights will definitely help us lead in times of crisis, especially with the pandemic still raging on. Ramanathan, sir, our next question, a very anticipated one, is to you. As the first mission director of Atal Innovation Mission, you have been instrumental in the launch and execution of several nationwide innovation and entrepreneurship initiatives. Needless to say, you are a pioneer in the field of entrepreneurship and innovation. While entrepreneurship has attracted a huge talent pool in the recent years, it is still seen as a risk in India, especially as a career choice. In Enactus 2, we have a lot of innovative students managing incredible social entrepreneurship projects in colleges, but they don't end up taking entrepreneurship as a career after they graduate. Can you please share with us your perspective of why this is and how we can motivate and encourage entrepreneurship among students?
Thank you, Arushi, and it's a very, very pertinent and very important question. And we have actually at the Atal Innovation Mission, one of the main initiatives has been not just to introduce all these initiatives, but also to be able to encourage young students like the ones whom we are talking about to launch into a world of entrepreneurship. Now, if you had said, even 20 years ago, even when I was graduating from IIT, none of us used to think about becoming an entrepreneur. All that we want to do was get a good marks in our university, get into a good university abroad, get good marks again, and go to to a place where the university will accept us, and then get good marks again and get a good job. That is all every one of us thought should be our aspiration. And indeed, many of us, including me, bent down to that aspiration. But that's because we were a different society then. We were still a society, and India was still an up and coming economy. It had not yet risen the way it has risen in the last 20 years. We had always, many of us were coming from, I would say, the lower economy class or middle economy class backgrounds. And so our intent was, let's take a secure job and let us start earning some money to be able to bring some relief to our parents or to our society or to our families. But today the situation is very different. Also in those days, it was you needed venture capital, you needed money, in any entrepreneurship event, initiative, you need somebody to support you. Beyond just your own ability to support that particular initiative, and that was difficult. But today we are living in a very different world. We're living in a world where all of this is possible. Entrepreneurship, in fact, is a real possibility that every young student like you who has had the benefit of great education should exercise. Why? It is no longer as risky as it was. And one great part of our education is to show how less risky it is. Today, you have venture capital, you have the ability to support, you have incubators, world-class incubators today in our universities. We have 400 incubators today in India, and that number is growing almost every year. It is, I'm sure, within a couple of, any world-class university today in India or aspiring world-class university should have a world-class incubator. Why do they need that? Because young students like you who are so talented should have the opportunity to exercise your startup idea at least for 2 years. You see, when you just graduate from universities, you're full of ideas, you're full of imagination. And if you don't give that particular imagination an opportunity to express itself through a startup, then we fail as an educational set of institutions. And so now almost every university that I know is embracing the idea of setting up incubators or setting up incubators. The second is you have technology which has become affordable. In those days, if you had to become an entrepreneur, it was very difficult to access computing technology, communication technology. You wanted sophisticated equipment and so on. Now it is a different world. It has become, like I said, affordable, accessible, available, and advanced. We are setting up Atal tinkering labs, which I never experienced. Even today, many universities don't have 3D printers, but schools now are able to afford it. We give a grant of 10 lakhs in which you are able to afford this gamut of technologies for people to get acquainted with. And this is now possible in universities. So technology has become affordable, and therefore your ability to play with it and experiment with it and pilot all of these things into solutions that you see has become possible. Third is we are connected globally. So social media, internet, and all of this is providing you tremendous access to information. So you are able to now see what others are doing. You are connected to the peers of the world. I mean, imagine when I was in 83, when I went to New Zealand for the first time as a part of Tata Consultancy Services, my parents and family stood up in a line in my neighbor's house because they were the only house which had a telephone with a long distance communication link. And they stood for, and we used to talk for only 3 minutes so that, because it was so unaffordable at that time. But today, almost every one of you is connected to the rest of the world and spending hours chatting or on social media or their friends in the US and so on. This is a different world. And in this world, if you do not take this opportunity of entrepreneurship and give it a shot, and your parents should realize it, and there should be an education to the teachers, the faculty, the parents. You see, many universities today, according to me, they all have a chief placement officer, but they don't have a chief R&D and innovation officer. That's what they should have. And they should encourage institutions, organizations who are coming for placement or seeking placement students to also set up an innovation hub there. Now, when you do all of this, the opportunities are endless. And I think young students should embrace it. And let me tell another thing. Let me also share. 2 years of entrepreneurship, even if it does not succeed for you, even if it doesn't succeed, you will become a better employee for any organization because you have been there, done that. You have been able to experiment with ideas and create solutions. And that is what you need. And all those who feel, and I'm sure there are many who rightfully feel that they cannot immediately become entrepreneurs, acquire that entrepreneurial mindset. If you acquire that entrepreneurial mindset and that innovative mindset, and you go seeking a job, it doesn't matter. In that job, you will innovate. You will become an entrepreneur in that job, and that will lead you to become an entrepreneur for the future.
Thank you so much, sir. Those were some really great insights. We surely look forward to incorporate those into our projects. Now, my next question is actually to both of you, which a lot of Enactus students were eager to ask. Different leaders have different styles of leadership that they follow. As students, we have come across a lot of leadership books that outline different styles of leadership and principles. Can you share with us a few principles or actions that you have implemented or practiced in your leadership journey? Arun sir, what are your final comments on principles of leadership?
I think he's on mute. Arunji is on mute.
Okay, Ramanan sir, what has worked the best for you when it comes to leadership? What are your favorite principles on leadership?
Thank you, Sahej. And I have to humbly say that I am not a leader, but I think leadership is all about wanting to do something out of the ordinary, not just being run of the mill, but being able to think and come up with new solutions and be able to lead the way. The word leader shows leading the way. And if you want to lead, then you have to be able to ensure the following. First and foremost, you should have a very curious, innovative mindset. If you don't have an innovative, curious mindset, a problem-solving mindset, you will not find new solutions for problems that are already there or for problems that you anticipate in the future. And a leader actually shows the way of how do you solve problems to the rest of the world. Through his imagination, through his or her thinking, through his or her ability. And ability has to be combined with agility. A great leader is always not just having ability, but he has the agility to move into an action plan. You cannot just be a dreamer and not have an action plan. So you need to have an action plan. The third is leadership is all about teamwork. A great leader is able to inspire a team around him. And that inspirational factor is so very important. You cannot be the architect of everything. Gone are the days where a single person could innovate, be a leader, and execute the project himself or herself. You need a team of complementary people. Everyone is talented, and you have to see how to harness the talent of the other. The leader is a coach who is behind the scenes most of the time. If he is in the front leading and showing the way and setting the example, but he's also the coach behind the scenes, urging the people in the front to be able to take leadership, to become leaders themselves. So a leader is that person who can enable many other leaders so that they can scale up and they can create an impact on the rest of the world. Impact doesn't get created by just one person. It is a team of people who make that impact. And finally, leadership has to be with trust. The Tata Group has always espoused, and that's what I have always learned, it has leadership with trust. How do you evoke the trust, not only of your customers, but of your partners, of your employees, of the society? Society should trust you. And that trust is not very easy to earn. It is earned based upon sincerity, upon diligence, upon true empathy, upon being selfless, and these qualities go into becoming a leader. And finally, a leader is always humble. I think humility is very important, because unless you are humble, you will not continue to learn. And continuing to learn, continuing to see where you are going wrong, the ability to accept that you may have gone wrong and make course corrections rather than stick to an opinion just because it came out from you, would be the greatest tragedy a leader would find in his journey. These are some of the things that I have learned over the years, and I think that's what great leaders are all about.
Arun sir, what is your take on principles of leadership and leadership in general?
Well, first of all, I just want to check. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I think every leader has his or her own approach to leadership. By the way, I want to really compliment Ramanan. You've been so eloquent and so on point on many of the things you've talked about. So I'm very much in agreement with your comments. But actually, the way I look at my own approach, one, I think is really important to be caring, to have care and respect for all the people in your organization, regardless of the level. Doesn't matter what level. I think one must genuinely care for them and respect them. Care means also standing with them when there's a difficulty. It could be a personal difficulty or it could be a professional difficulty. Sometimes people try to do something and it fails. And that's not the time to be tough on them. That's the time to support them and have them think through how they would do it better the next time. So I think it's really important to care for people when they're in difficulty, whether personal or professional. So you stand by your people because you care for them, and that comes evident when there is difficulty. When somebody's under the gun, that's when that caring becomes important and valuable. The second is in terms of respect. Everybody has something to contribute. Everyone has. So it's important to show that respect. Understand that everyone in their own way will have something to contribute to a team. And I like the way Ramanan talked about teamwork, to team and organization. So it's not, last of all, it's about you. It's about them. It's about what everybody can bring to the party. Second, I think, is about energy and positivity. As a leader, one has to constantly infuse energy and positivity into a system. Nobody wants to follow a leader who's low energy or who's negative. No one enjoys working with somebody who's negative. So that's really important. That this is something I think is common for all leaders. If you want to be a leader, I think you've got to be energetic, infuse energy and positivity. The third one, again, Ramanan actually referred to this in a way, is that you have to have the courage to go forward based on your convictions. So as a leader, you're expected to see beyond what everybody else sees. Otherwise, you may as well just be a follower. You've got to be able to see beyond what everybody else sees. And not everybody may see it at first, but if you've made the right call, they will eventually see it. But you have to have the courage to go forward and not be pulled back by folks who don't see where you want to go. But that courage has to come from your convictions, come from your experience, and really come from a commitment to doing the right thing for the team. So those are my high-level thoughts on leadership, or these are the ones I try to follow.
Thank you, Arun sir and Ramanan sir, for encouraging Enactus students all over India and giving enlightening thoughts on leadership and entrepreneurship. The three of us really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you, Simran and Arushi. Established in 2003, Enactus India has been focusing on fostering young and ingenious minds to make this world a better place. Students at Enactus India have been demonstrating their entrepreneurial skills to inspire and create opportunity where little existed and ultimately improve lives and strengthen communities. Over the past year, Enactus students from across 128 colleges have positively impacted over 1.7 million lives. The innovative mindset of Enactus members have enabled them to solve various problems that are prevalent in India. India is one of the worst hit countries by the COVID-19 pandemic, which instigated various problems like providing clean water and sanitation, unemployment, and hunger. During these unprecedented times, projects like Prava, Amal, and Vriddhi have been tackling the problem of air pollution, which aggravates climate change by using stubble waste to create sustainable businesses. Project Palash and Leher have been tackling the problem of ocean pollution and creating environment friendly products. Project Sugam and Darya tackle the problem of plastic pollution and curb its harmful impact on the environment. In fact, today we have two members from Project Vidhi who were the winners of Enactus India National Competition 2020 and took Project Vidhi at the World Cup. I would now like to hand over to Khitish Malik and Sahil Singh.
Hello, I am Sahil Singh, and here with me is Khitish Malik. We're a part of Enactus Hansraj, and we're here to talk about Project Vidhi, which won the Enactus national competition last year and represented India in the World Cup, where it stood in the top four globally. But before we get started, let us show you a 70-second video of our project.
Delhi is reeling under severe air pollution right ahead of Diwali.
India is one of the countries hit hardest by the global climate crisis. The situation is worsening day by day. In November 2019, the air quality levels of Delhi, the capital of India, rose to dangerously high levels. Majority of this pollution was due to stubble burning, the practice of setting fire to crop residue practiced by farmers. To convert ash into opportunity, Enactus Hansraj came up with Project Vriddhi, an initiative conceptualized to curb stubble burning by utilizing it for productive purposes. Currently functioning under three diverse verticals. Tabdeel aims at uplifting the farmers by acquainting them with stubble-based mushroom cultivation. Shilpkari aims at reviving the Indian handicrafts industry by producing stubble-made handicrafts and fostering financial independence among rural women. Nirman, our third vertical, addresses the issue of open defecation by establishing low-cost toilets made of stubble bowls. Our latest addition, Restove, aims to replace traditional cook stoves with eco-friendly biogas plants. With an unflinching zeal to tackle the ever-growing problem of air pollution, we have so far stopped burning of 624 tons of stubble, prevented 911 tons of carbon dioxide emissions, while impacting 200 plus farmers, 50 plus women, and 100 slum families. With this spirit in mind, we dream, we believe, we achieve. We are Enactus Hansraj.
So hello everyone. Now that we've briefly gone through the crux of the project, we understand that Project Vidhi tackles climate change through its mission to curb stubble burning and using it for many productive purposes. But before we delve deeper into the project, Sahil, how about you tell everyone about how Project Vidhi really started?
Yeah, so it all started in 2018 when we delved deeper into the havoc that stubble burning reaps on the pollution levels in northern India. And we did immense research on the alternatives of crop residue burning for a year. But soon we realized that, to truly understand the root cause of, farmers burning stubble, we needed to travel out of Delhi and into the farmlands of Punjab and Haryana. And it was there that we really garnered a nuanced approach and understanding of the real reasons behind farmers taking this route. All the farmers know the ill effects of burning stubble, but owing to time constraints and lack of alternatives, they're left with no other way out. The general population blames them but does little to help them find ways to avoid the practice. When we conducted 30 plus sessions with the help of Ayurved Foundation and JVNR Trust, which impacted more than 650 farmers, they were more than receptive to the idea of mushroom cultivation as an alternative to stubble burning. So we grasped the opportunity by starting out with 10 farmers and initiated their training with the help of Haryana Agro Industrial Corporation. What started with just 10 farmers slowly grew into a family of more than 160 farmers by 2019. Now, our original 10 farmers are the board of directors of our farmer producer organization that we have formed. And this is how the creation of Vidhi and its first vertical Tabdeel unfolded.
Yeah, Sahil, it really has been a very insightful journey with Tabdeel, where it all really, came about and started for Project Riddhi. Our next step was to horizontally expand our project and deal with many other social evils like gender inequality and lack of sanitation facilities available in India through a multitude of innovative solutions that basically revolved around utilizing stubble and upcycling it into various other forms. Like in 2019, we started Shilpkari, which was a vertical under Project Riddhi, aimed to revive the handicraft industries who are skilled women entrepreneurs. The USP of our handicrafts lied in the fact that our products are not only an output of waste material, but are also eco friendly, cost effective, and a close substitute to single use plastic. Further adapting to COVID times, Shilpkari's e commerce portal also went live a few months back. However, one problem that was common in both our communities was the issue of open defecation, which was linked to improper sanitation facilities that was available to them in the rural parts of our country and even slums around major cities like Delhi. To tackle this, we designed Nirman, which dealt with converting stubble into 100% eco-friendly construction boards that were used to create washrooms for our beneficiaries, with each such washroom utilizing 800 kilograms of stubble waste.
Yeah, so coming to our latest vertical, latest addition to Project Vidhi, Restove, which aims at replacing the traditional cook stove used in rural homes and provide an eco-friendly energy solution. And to make this a reality, we partnered with Enactus Munich and established our first state-of-the-art stubble to biogas system in Rohini, Delhi. And we have many more to come in multiple states of India. But the establishment of our first biogas plant in early 2021 came with its fair share of hurdles. With the whole country struggling to fight the pandemic, COVID shocked every sector of the society, and that includes our operations as well. So, Kitish, how about you explain how we tackled the pandemic over the last year and a half?
Yes, Sahil, surely. I very precisely remember that around a year and a half back, with the onset of COVID 19 in India, everything went on hold, starting from all sectors of our economy, all industries. And as Enactus students and Enactus India as a whole, it really called for reassessment of our business models to ensure that Enactus adapts to the new normal. For example, in Enactus Hansraj, we shifted the production processes of our handicrafts from an assembly line model to end to end operations to further ensure that there's social distancing among each entrepreneur of ours. Further, in our washroom vertical, a free to use hand sanitizing station was also installed right outside our washroom in Arthala, which has been operational ever since. Supporting our communities further, we even conducted multiple distribution drives, which included cooked meals, uncooked meals, hygiene kits, and COVID 19 safety gear as well, like masks, gloves, and PPE kits. Um, Moving further, Sahil, Nationals and World Cup journey has something that is very dear to both of us. How about you share the experience with everyone and how it was to, represent India at a global stage?
Yeah, so the Nationals and the World Cup, they are two of my fondest memories of my whole journey at Enactus. Last year, both the competitions having been shifted to the online mode were something completely new to us. When we had first come into the first year of college and at Enactus, we had heard from our seniors how amazing the Enactus Nationals are in the offline mode and how enriching the whole experience is. We were told about how it's the flagship event at Enactus and teams work tirelessly and participate around the country. A new mode carried a mix of nervousness but also excitement along with it. Be it offline or online, everything in the national competition from the project's showcase to the impactful speaker sessions were just amazing for me to have witnessed. I personally loved the fact that, we could see a plethora of other presentations around the country and learn newer approaches to tackle the prevalent issues in the society. But one thing that was constant from the nationals to the World Cup was the spirit of Enactus. Seeing all the amazing projects in India in the nationals and then around the globe in the World Cup definitely is an experience worth remembering. Primarily because of how much it opens one's minds to the possibilities of innovation around the globe. It really made me contemplate about what new waters we as a team can step into in our own location. But apart from that, the biggest plus point about the World Cup was the fact that we got to interact with young change makers and eminent world leaders around the globe. And these connections are some we still hold dear. And wherever around the world Enactus is present, the essence of Enactus has followed. And with that has come the desire to collaborate, to share and grow together, and finally propel change in the society. But before we end here, we would really like to wish all the participating teams good luck and all the best. Hope this national journey hold a special place in your heart as it did for us last year.
Absolutely, Sahil. Absolutely.
Thank you, Sahil and Kitish, for sharing your Enactus journey. And I'm sure I speak for all Enactus students and alumna when I say that Enactus will always be a part of us. The Enactus India National Competition is a celebration of the hard work that Enactus teams put in for their projects and the positive impact they create. Here is a flashback video of the positive impact created this past year.
It's been almost 3 weeks since India began lifting coronavirus outbreak. Given the uniqueness of the past year, we introduced a new vertical at this year's national competition. So this year, we have two verticals in our competition. The first or the new vertical is the early stage project competition. All teams with projects in the ideation or pilot phase are part of this vertical. We have 77 teams with incredible and impactful ideas which could not be implemented given the uncertainty of the last 18 months. These 77 teams are participating in the early stage competition. The second vertical, or the mature stage project competition, is where teams showcase their projects, which have been running for over a year and have successfully realized measurable impact. This year, we have over 50 teams participating in the mature stage competition. The winner of this vertical will advance forward to the Enactus World Cup and represent India. The mature stage competition has now begun, for which the first step was league pairing. The teams have been divided into leagues for the opening round. You can see on the screen a quick overview of the league pairing. Two teams from each league advance to the semi-final. Over 100 business and academic leaders will judge the social entrepreneurial projects that the teams have showcased based on entrepreneurial leadership, innovation, and sustainable positive impact. I would also like to invite everyone to watch the project showcase on www.india.enactus.org. The voting competition has also started, so be sure to vote for your favorite project video. The opening round award ceremony will be held on the 16th of August at 6 p.m. Please join us then for a dialogue on skills and competencies for sustained success and to congratulate the semi finalists and celebrate all our teams. We cannot wrap up the opening ceremony without thanking our students for their contribution towards building a better, more sustainable world. I would also like to thank our faculty advisors for facilitating and supporting their teams, and our sponsors for their endless contribution towards the Enactus India program and mission. For more updates, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be sure to keep you posted on all the upcoming fun activities and events. Thank you all for joining us today, and see you on Monday for the opening round award ceremony. All the very best to all the participating teams. Thank you.